to XSarah Yoga. I am Sarah. We've got a yin practice to open up the hips today. Put on something comfy. I am literally in my pajamas. Nothing fancy here. Starting to open up the hips and feel better. So grab your mat and let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start in a seat. As always, if you ever need anything to sit up on, you can grab a pillow, blanket, slide it under your bum and come sit up. If you don't need that, that's fine. We're going to come right into a Baddha Konasana, butterfly shape with the legs. So bottoms of the feet come together. But for this version, we're going to walk the feet a little bit further away. Again, this is a yin practice, right? More restorative, not quite restorative. Yin tends to stretch a little bit deeper in these holds. And we're trying to soften up the connective tissue, which is very malleable, so we can create flexibility in the body and restore the body essentially for some of those harder days when we might be training or going through a lot. This is really beneficial not only to the body but to the mind, just to slow down and linger in those holds. So bottoms of the feet together. Take a breath in here. Feet a little bit further away than you normally would. And we're going to start to fold over. So you might take your finger pads and just use the ground to lift up through the heart. And then on your exhale, we're going to start to come down here. So if you have a block handy, that's great. If not, no worries. You just use your hands here and let your head drop down. Sometimes I like that. It's just a release for the neck. But if you're super flexible and you want to use that block and start to fold a little bit deeper underneath the head, you can grab that. But for me right now, that's a little bit too much. I'm going to ease myself into this, starting to focus on the breath here. And feeling that whole back plane of the body open up, the lower back, the kidney meridian right below the ribs, the shoulder blades, the back of the neck, creating space really. And you can probably feel it, of course, into the inner groin, the inner thighs. Maybe letting go of the face and the jaw as well. And starting to track your breath on the inhale as it moves in. And then out. So give yourself just about 5 more rounds of breath here. And then when you're ready, like a ragdoll, roll it up. So we're going to do this exact same pose. We're just going to move the feet in a little, take it a little bit deeper. Find that length through the heart. Take a breath in. And then exhale, come right back down. Again, find that attention back to your breath. Notice the weight of the head, the jaw, the face. The weight of the tongue here. Really signaling your body just to relax, release into this shape. And of course, there's going to be these areas of tension, of pulling. That's kind of the point.
But how can you respond to that in a peaceful way? And maybe just noticing those sensations, what the reaction is in the mind. Again, we'll just take about 5 more rounds of breath here. And then whenever you are ready, like a rag doll, we're going to come up. Let your head be the last thing to rise. Find the hands on the outer edges of the knees and help your knees together. So from here, we'll take the legs out long and lean back and just kind of windshield wiper the feet from side to side. Feel that opening across the backs of the knees. And so now we're going to come into a half hero's pose. So we'll start with the left side. And if you have that block, or even if you have a pillow, sometimes a prop is nice for this one, and sometimes you don't need it. So it's really just depends on your body. So before we find that half hero's pose, let's just bring the feet about hip width distance apart, lift up through the heart, and just a quick fold here to find the length through the backs of the legs. Let the head release. If you have access to it, you might grab for the knees, the shins, or even the feet. And just for one more breath, and reach your heart forward. And then exhale, fold. So you can kind of roll your inner thighs down, almost like you're pigeon toeing your feet in, your heels wider. And then exhale, gonna release, maybe stretch the tops of the feet forward as you come up. And starting with the left side for half hero, we're gonna bring that foot in first. And then we'll actually start to lean off to the right side. You're gonna grab the ankle with the left hand, pull this foot back. So pretty big opening here for the top of the thigh, also a pretty deep flex into the knee. So you want the left foot to be on the outside edge of that hip, so you're not sitting on the foot. And so this might be where you decide to grab that block, right? And if you want to use a prop, bend your right knee, slide that block underneath the right hip there, and then lengthen out the right leg. So you just want the block underneath that right side to kind of square off the hips. If you're gonna go for it like me and you have maybe done a hero's pose before, you know that you can do it on the ground. You can take your prop out of the way. And again, these are just all options. It really is about following your own body. We're gonna start here by taking ourselves back. So if you have that block there, you might lean back on the hands. You might come back to the elbows. So with the block, that's about as far as you'll go. If you don't have the block and you do have that flexibility, you can continue to take yourself all the way down. And then taking a moment to lengthen the tailbone down towards the heels. And then if it feels okay, you can bring the arms up and over to really feel that opening through the chest. So whichever level, whichever version of this you're in, getting a nice deep stretch across the top of that left quad, right? Even into the inner groin, the outer edge of the left hip. Kind of going at the hips from all angles today. Just let that right foot relax, close the eyes. Once more, we'll take about 5 more rounds of breath here. Whichever level that you're on, let's start to make our way up. So if you're all the way down on your back, it's easiest maybe to grab the edges of your mat with your hands. Use your elbows to push down and start to peel yourself up. And we're going to come out of this just as we came in. So we'll lean off to the right side. Slide that foot out. Find the foot in front. Hug the knee in. So now we're gonna take this foot or knee out to the side and take a little fold up and over this right leg, coming all the way down. So if you like, you can twist a little bit up and over to the right more, and then fold. Just a few rounds of breath here. And then go ahead, come all the way up. Lengthen out that left leg. Lean back. Just notice the difference between the sides. And then we're gonna head on over to that right side. And again, you have your block, your pillow. If you need any prop underneath the left side of the hip, we're gonna lean to the left. Slide that foot back, catch the ankle. Foot comes to the outer edge of the hip. You can square off your hips a little bit here by lifting up and then settling back down. If you need that prop, slide it underneath the left side. And then starting to take yourself back to your degree. Lengthening the tailbone down towards the heel. Maybe taking the arms up and over if you've made it all the way down to the back. Just noticing the jaw, let that left foot relax. And coming back to your breath, seeing if you can really just soften into this. Right, so it might be a little bit of tension around the waist, around the top of that right hip, quad. To the best of your ability, let yourself soften using those exhales to really release down to the ground. And we'll take 5 more rounds of breath on this side. And then whenever you are ready, take your time. Again, move slow. Protect the knee here. Take our time. If you're all the way down, you can grab the edges of the mat using the elbows to lift up. If you're on a prop, maybe take that prop out, and then eventually we're going to roll off to the left side. Slide that right foot back out. Bottom of the foot comes towards the inner left thigh. Lengthen out that left leg, lengthen out through the heart, flex the toes back, maybe twist a little bit to the left for a forward fold here as we exhale, coming up and over. And then we'll start to roll it all the way up. All right, so now I'm going to give you the option here, one last hip opener. You can either find easy Sukhasana, or you can take a double pigeon pose, starting with the left leg on the bottom, stacking that right foot on top. So this is fire log pose. And again, if this is too much, just finding that Sukhasana easy seat pose. Or another option is you can keep this right leg on top and lengthen out the bottom leg underneath you. And whichever version you're in, find even sits bones here. Flex the toes back towards the knees and find a nice upright position through the spine. Lengthen. So you can stay right here. This might be enough of a hip opener for you. If you want to take it a little bit further, you might start to lean forwards. Maybe walking the hands forward. Maybe taking it into a little bit of a fold. Again, you can use the hands as stoppers. If you have a lot of flexibility, you can bring that block in and maybe even come down and lower your forehead to the block. And again, just finding a level that's not super invasive. Right, for yin, we want to be able to stay in the position a little bit longer than we normally would. Not to say that it's not a deep stretch, but not something that's going to create stress. Something that you know you might have the possibility of relaxing into. Let your head drop. And let's just give ourselves 5 more rounds of breath here. And then nice and slow, we'll bring it all the way up. If you want, for a moment, just like we did before, maybe lengthen out the legs, windshield wiper from side to side. We're going to switch sides, so right leg comes on the bottom. Again, maybe easy Sukhasana, or maybe stack that left leg, left foot on top. You can always stack the left foot on top and lengthen out the bottom right leg. We're going to square off the hips here, send the sits bones back. Get nice and tall, flex the toes, take a breath in. And then exhale. Oh. Hello, hi. Nala is joining us. Exhale, fold down. So if your mind is pretty active today, something you can play with is really starting to even out the breath. Maybe allowing the inhales to last 5 or 6 seconds. Seeing if you can match the exhales to last the same, either 5 or 6 seconds long. And actually just counting those rounds of breath. And give yourself about 5 more rounds like that if you are counting the seconds. Continue there. Inhaling for 5 or 6 seconds, exhaling for 5 or 6 seconds. Using those exhales, these last 5 exhales, to sink a little deeper. Take one more. And then exhale, climb yourself all the way up, nice and slow. Lengthen out those legs. Windshield wiper from side to side. All right, so this would be a great time to take yourself onto your back for a Shavasana. Maybe take yourself onto your back and slide this block under your tailbone for your Shavasana. But I will leave you here to kind of choose whatever you would like to do to end your practice. You might just sit here like I am for a few final moments if you have to rush off to something else. But just give yourself at least 10 more rounds of breath to let all of that sink in. Feel the weight into the pelvis. Feel the breath dropping down into the low back, into the low belly. So I hope this yin practice for your hips helped you out today. Let me know in the comments below, and I thank you so much for watching. My name is Sarah, and I'll see you next time on XSarah Yoga. Namaste.